Namaste, my name is Dhieyo and welcome to my channel. Today I'll tell you a little about Kundalini awakening. Okay, the knowledge that I share with you is just going to add a little bit to all the other information that you have about it. But it's going to be extremely important for the practice that you're doing. It'll enhance this awakening, and you'll figure out whether you need to be firstly calling it awakening or you need to call it something else. Okay, so now for those who don't know about this, Kundalini awakening is a coiled snake energy in you. It's like a sleeping coiled snake which you need to awaken, and once you awaken it, you get a source of intelligence which is of another level altogether. It's coming directly from the source. Now with this intelligence, okay, so for an example, is just an example, if 2 plus 2 is 4 for this realm, with this intelligence 2 plus 2 you'll reach another realm altogether. Okay, once you're there at that realm, you'll go interact with different beings, and whatever intelligence they give you, you come back on this planet and you use that intelligence for the betterment of this planet. Okay, now all the intelligence that you gather from this planet with this Kundalini energy that is awakened now with this intelligence that you've gathered over here, you go to another realm and help those beings out also. Okay, but again, it's not just limited to, let's say, traveling to different realms. When this energy is there with you, this intelligence is there with you, you can use it for your career, for your family, for your health, for your relationships, for anything. There's no limit to it. But the only thing is, it's of another level altogether, this intelligence. Okay, so now why is it the snake? When you ask somebody this, they will have various different answers for it, and some will even say that no, it's just a way of saying that it's an energy that's sleeping in that coil thing. So once that snake is awakened in that snake manner, it will go up and then the awakening happens. To which I always ask, then why not a tortoise? You know, you've got a tortoise who's in the shell. Now you got to wake it up, that okay, get up, and then the tortoise will pop its head up and stretch its leg, and slowly on tortoise speed will climb up, and eventually tortoise wins the race, awakening. But no, it's always the snake. Okay, have you ever seen a camel awakening? Have you ever seen a camel get up? That's the scariest awakening ever. Okay, it goes back, it comes in the front, and then eventually it gets up after all that struggle. I mean, even if Shiva has to come and tell me you need the camel awakening, I'll say no chance, Shiva, thank you so much, I prefer being dumb. Okay, but it's always the snake. Okay, now before people started calling it the Kundalini awakening, okay, it was always referred to as Sone ki Shakti in the ancient times. Sone ki Shakti means, Sona means gold, Shakti means energy. It was a golden energy. Why golden energy? Why has mankind been obsessed with gold for centuries? Okay, since ancient times, we've seen our god images, we've seen our idols, it's always gold. People always invest in gold. At least here in India, they say that's the best investment you can do. And it's true in a way. Okay, it's this gold that saved a lot of Jews from leaving Germany when their bank accounts were seized. They could use gold as a barter system to get their way out from Germany. Okay, we've seen our gods, our kings and queens and everyone. It's always gold, gold, gold. They're dressed in from head to toe in gold. Okay, so why is gold always seen as a symbol of progress, of somebody who's of a lot of value? We'll understand this now. Okay, because both of them are connected, the snake and the gold is connected. So today you are a result of two energies, right? Your mother and father got together and you were the result of it. Okay, so now whether you like it or you don't like it, you will have traits of both of them in you. Besides who you are, what you are, you'll have a little bit of your father, a little bit of your mother. From time to time, depending on the situation and circumstances, they will pop up, their traits will pop up. Okay, so the minute it pops up, you will recognize it. Oh, you know, this was what I did was exactly like my father. What I did was exactly like my mother. You know, our features will also look like them. The older we get, the more our features also look like them. Our entire body structure starts looking like them. At least one of them. Okay. So now, just like you have these two human beings, their energy in you, there's another being's energy which is in us. But the minute you tell people about a being, people start freaking out because they think it's something else. But then a being is just like us. So today if I tell you why you're being so rude, so which means that usually you are not rude, but right now you're being rude. So all of us are not human beings. We are only human beings for this 100 years probably that we are here. Otherwise we are all spirits. So we are being human. Similarly, a very intelligent, a very highly intelligent spirit is in a being. Okay, this being, okay, is golden in color. His name was Sunhera. He was referred to as Sunhera. Sunhera means gold, the golden one. Okay, now it is important you know how this being looks like. So when you're working towards a Kundalini, you know exactly what you're trying to awaken. So the energy of this being now, if you see the ceiling behind me that's 10 feet high, is about 8 to 9 feet tall. Okay, this being is entirely golden in color. His upper body is exactly like us, like a human being. But the only thing is, he's extremely, extremely good looking. He has the amount of peace. I mean, you look at him and you will be at peace no matter what you're feeling. Okay, you won't be able to utter a word in front of him. Even though his size is so big, he's not scary. He's the most humble, the most beautiful looking being. Okay, so his upper body is like a human, his lower body is of a snake. But then again, it's not the snake that we see in our garden roaming around or in the wild roaming around. Okay, so his lower body is huge. Okay, and above him, like if you've seen a cobra, the hood of a cobra, so if this is how he is, if let's say my body is that being's body, above him is where his hood stands. The entire hood, which is so huge on somebody, is now, let's say if this is the hood of that being, this is how lean he is in front of it. So it's so amazing to see something so magnificent balanced on something that is so lean. Okay, the entire gold that you see is not the gold that we have over here. It's that early morning sunrise gold. Multiply that with like 1,000 times. That's the gold that he's made of. The scales that is there on him. Okay, if you've seen Cobra, the scales of the snake is of copper. So he's a mix of a lot of gold and a little bit of copper. That's the being. That's his energy that's in us. This is the same being if you see a lot of pictures of Buddha. Okay, where Buddha is sitting down in his meditation and there's a snake over him, towering over him. Okay, usually they'll have 5 or 7 faces on it, but this is the same being. Okay, you ask people about it, besides various stories, some will even say that, okay, it was raining and this being came to protect Buddha from the rain. No, that's not true. This being is the one who was protecting Buddha with all the knowledge that he'd given Buddha. So all the knowledge that Buddha had, Buddha was understanding, learning, sharing with so many people, was this being's intelligent force which was there in Buddha, which was awakened. Okay, so now when you see there is a picture of Vishnu Bhagwan. Vishnu Bhagwan is the god of preserver. So if Buddha, if Brahma is the creator, Shiva is the destroyer, Vishnu Bhagwan is the preserver of this realm. So there is a picture that you see of Vishnu Bhagwan where he is lying down on a snake and the snake is towering over him. He's lying down like this at very ease. That's a way of saying he's relaxed, because the responsibility of this earth, of this planet, he's given it to this being, the golden one, Sunhera. Okay, so like my previous video, I said everything is coming from under the ground, our gold, our energy supply, the entire balance. So now there's an image that you will see if you Google it. There's a snake with earth over it that shows that Sheshnag, his name was eventually given as Sheshnag. The Sheshnag now is balancing the entire earth because of his mind. So some now might say that, okay, but there is so much war and poverty and sickness and illness and all, but no matter what, your oxygen is still being supplied. Okay, in the worst of the condition, your oxygen, your food, your water is all coming from the ground. Your energy supply is coming from the ground. So it's thanks to Sheshnag, the Sunhera, the golden one, and his beings who are all there to help us. Okay, so that's the energy, that's the intelligent force that is in all of us. So now you know why people are so obsessed with gold, because they're trying to emulate being like Sheshnag. They thought, okay, if you start wearing all the gold that's coming from there, and for some people the gold really works, it adds up to whatever practices that they're doing, it suits them, the planetary thing, and there's lots you can read about it. But eventually everyone wanted to be like Sheshnag. That's why the color gold and everything with gold is given so much of value, is because this being was golden. Okay, that's the importance of that being. So now when in time it just turned out to become a snake, how did that happen? Such an important part of us has just turned out to become like one coiled snake in us. This is why it happened. So now let's say if I have adopted a abandoned tiger cub, okay, I'm training the cub how to hunt, eventually with the intention of I'm going to leave it back in the wild. Now I form a bond with this cub, and I like it, so I'm teaching it how to sit, how to shake hands, how to roll, how to probably go fetch, and eventually when it's grown up, I take it to the wild to leave the tiger. The tiger is really happy. Before the tiger leaves, I tell the tiger, no matter what, I will always provide for you. The tiger doesn't understand that. He goes and mingles with the other tigers. Okay, so now you have all these other tigers who are telling him that, man, you're so intelligent, how do you know to do all these things? Okay, so the tiger can't pronounce my name as Dhieyo, because even humans can't pronounce my name. The tiger says, you know, the brown one, he taught me all of this. They said, what brown one? He said, yeah, there's a brown one over there. You know, he's got 2 legs, 2 hands. He's brown in color, 2 eyes, ears. They're like, man, this tiger has gone mad, and they start avoiding him. So now again, the tiger is being abandoned. He doesn't want to face his childhood traumas again. He doesn't want to be abandoned again. So he goes up to the tigers and he says, you know, he cooks up a story. He looks at the tree and he says, you know that monkey there? The monkey is the brown one. So tigers look at the monkey, they say, yeah, he's got hands, he's got legs, he's got eyes, he's brown in color, it's definitely the monkey. They start worshipping the monkey, like, please teach us what intelligence you have, and the monkey cashes onto it. Monkey goes and jumps from one tree to the other and swings around, and now tiger's also doing the same thing, thinking that they've become intelligent. That's the same thing that's happening with us. We're trying to waken up a snake which is not going to give us any of that intelligence that is required. So those who knew about it in the earlier times were working towards awakening this energy, were obviously evoking that being. Okay, there's a difference between awakening and evoking. When you awaken, something goes back to sleep, but when you evoke this being in you, this energy in you, it'll never go off to sleep. So this is why a lot of rishis and a lot of wise people earlier times could go travel to different places, do a lot of mystical things, and people would be like, wow, how do you know all of this? Okay, but when they started telling humans that this is how you can do it, this is the being, people thought they were mad, they were outcasted, nobody wanted to talk to them. So said, God, if we get outcasted, we need to pass on the message, let's do this, let's just tell them it's a coiled snake. The minute you say a snake, everyone relates to it because you've seen that snake. But the snake has no intelligence compared to the intelligence that we're talking about. This is how it got messed up over a period of time. Okay, but it's never too late. So the most important thing when you're practicing this, remember one thing, you're not awakening it, you got to evoke it. This being is still there in the realm, looking exactly the same way for centuries. It is this realm that we become old and then we eventually all become wrinkled and become something else altogether. But this being looks the same, he's doing the same job for centuries. So you need to evoke this being. He's not going to come for you if you're trying to evoke some snake up. Alright, that's the importance of it. And if you are on this path and you're practicing it, all the meditation images that you see on your Google, and if you're practicing to evoke this being, the trip that you go is going to be crazy. Your entire body starts shaking, your hands start shaking, your body vibrates, your head starts moving in a very violent way. But you need to, at that point, remember that you need to sit through it. Enjoy the ride. Don't freak out, just enjoy the ride. Because what is happening right now is, let's say a chick is breaking its egg shell and coming out, it's cracking open all the limitation that it has been in. Okay, so now our mind, which controls our entire body, is not understanding where is this intelligence coming from. The mind has gathered everything to keep you stuck in it. It's not being able to control you anymore. Even if you have to blink, it's the mind that gives you that message to blink, right? Right now the mind's going crazy. It doesn't understand where is this entire force coming from. This is why it can't handle anything in your hands and everything is going out of control. Okay, so at that time it is very important not to freak out, because if you freak out, let's say the energy is just rising and you freak out, now that intelligent energy is there, but you've left the practice and you've gone. So some other beings from some other realms now will notice that, okay, you've got that intelligence. They can make use of that intelligence through you. Okay, probably create a virus that's killing everyone. You know what I mean, right? So at that time when this is happening, you've got to sit through it, go through it. Okay. You won't freak out when you know that, okay, this is why it's happening, that intelligent force is rising. When you don't know about it, people freak out. Okay, I was teaching this couple certain practices and I could make out now the wife has reached a stage where she can start moving towards a Kundalini awakening. So I gave her some practices and I said, okay, do it at this time in the night and do it in a separate room because of certain reasons and all. And she was doing it and her husband walked in. He freaked out, seeing his wife go all nuts with her hair all in front of her and body shaking. He thought she's possessed. Okay, this is the first time her husband, I think in history of all the marriages, he's the first one who volunteered to go sleep on the sofa. Didn't want to sleep with her. till I went and explained to him that, okay, this is why it is happening. So you got to be careful with all these things. Whoever's teaching you about Kundalini, awakening, firstly, let them teach you the way they are, because they don't know about it. But now, since you know it is not an awakening, you have to evoke it. So when you're going to sit for those practices, however they're teaching you, okay, you keep in your mind that you got to evoke it. Okay, you keep in your mind the being that you're evoking in you, the energy force of that being, the most good looking, the most intelligent, the most humble, the most polite, the most magnificent being, okay, who's obviously been helping us. Like the brown man telling the tiger, no matter what, I will always provide for you. It's the same thing. Even if you don't, they're always providing us with everything that we are surviving on. Okay, that's the intelligence. So yeah, please do it for the right reasons, and all the best with it. So if you like this video, give it a like, subscribe to my channel. Until I see you again, have a good life. Namaste.